Well, hello everybody. This is Brother Todd with your Victory Minute. I hope you guys are having a great day. Just pulled up here at church and it come a pretty good little rain this morning and it's all gone now. And I kind of left out there from the house thinking about this good shower, and I pulled up here and I was looking at how pretty everything looked and how pretty the trees was, and I just kind of said, Lord, well, thank you for the rain we had today and all the other rains that we've had. How you look after us and sustain us. His promise is there'll be a seed time and a harvest. There'll be a spring and a fall. He's going to move everything according to the movings of the earth so that we can walk in it, live in it, be blessed in it, and the creation can sing of his glory, and we have this time and opportunity of living in faith. And anyhow, I got out and I was looking over here at how pretty the grass is and how bright green it is, and I said to the Lord again, I said, well, thank you for that shower. And thought struck me. And the thought that hit me is what I just want to share with you. So I grabbed this contraption out of the truck and hooked this phone up in it. And so away we go with my little thinkings. And maybe there'll be help to you, I don't know. Tell you the truth, I'm amazed any of y'all even watch any of these things at all. Most of the time I figure if anybody had any sense, they just let the Victory Minute just roll on down its merry way. But anyway, if it'll help. What I was thinking about, bear with me a second, is I thought, this rain has come and it's done its good, but ain't nobody gonna remember it. It won't be remembered. It wasn't big enough. It wasn't like the flood of 41 or 91 around here or something like that. It's just come in a month. Nobody will even think anything about it. Most people ain't even thinking about it today unless they're a farmer or a rancher or something like that, and they're either builder or something like that. They need the rain in or out and all those kind of things. But it's come in and it's done its work. It's done its blessing. It's been a blessing and it moves on. And then you got to have another. And we need it teaches us that we need to be dependent upon the Lord. It's kind of like manna that fell down there in the Old Testament. You only got enough for the day. The Lord sustains us day by day. Our reality with the Lord is a journey. Lord don't fill you up with one big experience and that experience carry you. There's a reality that we need that constant connection and that constant blessing from the Lord. That's one of the first things I'd say to you is Christianity and your Christian walk is going to have moments, big remembered moments of blessing. You get saved. If you slip off backslid and you come back, God delivers you from some addiction or something. Maybe it just happens almost miraculous, or God help, maybe even you got a bona fide divine healing of some kind. The day that maybe your predominant gift that the Holy Spirit gave you just jumps out of your life, and all of a sudden you've got that power in it. I'm going to tell you something, baby. I'm 53 years old, and the times that big, remembered, remarkable, spiritual moments that I've had in my life, I can count on all these fingers. Okay? Lots of times everybody thinks it's something that rolls up every Sunday, just big old deal. That's not, God don't usually do it that way. He'll give you moments like that. We love them. We sometimes will go to church, we're looking for a feeling. We'll go to we judge a church service on whether or not we felt like we've been at church or not. We look for that one more experience, okay? But God works precept upon precept. We'll get to the reason, he said, Brother Todd, why doesn't God give us more just real big spiritual moments like that? And I'm going to tell you something. If you think you're having earth-shattering, spiritual, remembered moments in your life every week, you play acting. And anybody tells you that does lying to you. God does not want you operating on experience. He will give you enough experience that it'll be remarkable. It'll be remembered. Like I just said, a 41, a 91 flood, those types of things. Most of the rain showers we've had, they just come along every day. They just come along in time. They come along as we need them. And the reason I think that God does that is that he knows better than we that we can't live on experiences. If God blessed you in earth-shattering ways yesterday, peeled back the layers of your mind, and I mean just walked you into the same type of spiritual moment that Peter had on Pentecost, friend, what does that do today? What's that doing right now in you? Say, it won't carry you. You got to have a daily filling. The most important thing for a Christian to be is to be filled with the Spirit. And that's not just being run off emotionally. It means that you are overflowing with the Spirit, and it means that you are being controlled by the Spirit. Be ye not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, he says, right? But be ye filled with the Spirit. Just like a drunk man drinks too much, he talks different, he walks different, right? Thinks different. Well, when you're filled with the Spirit, you walk different, you think different, you talk different, if you follow what I'm saying. And it's just regular. It's just a daily occurrence. It's something that God gives you. It says God walks you down in life. Most of the blessings God gives you, they just become part of the fabric of life. And the reality is we need more of them. We need more. This rain's been a blessing. This grass is green. These trees look great. I'm going to tell you what, if that rain stops, nothing's going to happen. And what God does is he brings those blessings into us regularly, and we live on the reality of his power in our life in the right now and not in a remembered experience. Y'all know how many churches I'd go to when I was a young preacher. God let me preach all over the place. And I even spent a little time in evangelism. I've been out, and I say evangelism, mainly I was preaching for revival in churches. And thank God we got to see a lot of folks saved. But I went to a lot of them churches, and I would hear stories about back when. Back in 1965, we had a great bus ministry. We saw lots of people saved. 1978, we had a revival meeting. People got saved. We did this back in 1982. And you know, there I was kind of, all right, yeah, if this church is dead now, or it's dying now, what's going to go on now? Had an old preacher used to pray for revival meetings. His name was Bill Oliver. He'd been in heaven a good while now. And he would pray and he'd say, Lord, I thank you for the blessings, but past blessings are not sufficient for this hour. And that's always stuck with me. It's not sufficient for this hour. I was just sitting here thinking of something I didn't know if I want to tell it to you, not to take forever. Usually this is where I hit the off button and just start over. But anyhow, I might just let y'all ride through with it. I don't know. Let me study off here. Put it this way. If there was ever a set of people that could have lived on what their past experiences, what God did in them yesterday, it was the apostles. If you think about it, for 3 years, they lived with Jesus. They walked with Jesus. They see things. John put it this way. He said, if everything Jesus did in his ministry was written in a book, or written in books, that the world couldn't hold the books. Okay? So, I mean, them boys had some experiences. They had saw the dead raised. They had heard, I mean, beyond earthly wisdom. Saw the Lord walk on water. Blind people could see, deaf people could hear, mute people could talk, lepers was cleansed. I mean, you've read your Bible. I mean, you think about all the stuff Jesus did to validate his message, okay? That's what his miracles was doing. They were validating the things he was saying about himself. And he come into this world saying he was God, and he was coming into this world saying he's the only way. I'm the way, the truth, and the life, said the Lord. And no man comes to the Father but by me. People didn't like that message. Well, how do you know it's not some nut telling it to us? Well, what was happening? It was all those miracles. I mean, it's the most documented life in human history. And so they had all them miracles. And Jesus had told them, if you look there at the end of Matthew and Mark and Luke, and John, the first part of Acts, you see basically the Great Commission to go into the world is repeated in all 5 of those places. He was telling them, you're going to go, you're going to go, you're going to go. And no King James, they use the word ye, right, for you, go ye. you know, you go. And he told them there in Acts, told them there at the end of the Gospels, I'm sitting here thinking exactly what verse, and old Brother Todd just went blank. But he told them, he told them before to go, he said, but you go and tarry at Jerusalem. In fact, old King James was tarry ye. An old preacher a long time ago, I don't even know who it was first, it's been, Lord help, ever since King James probably got preached out of. Some old preacher noticed, he said, look at how Jesus said, tarry ye, before he said, go ye. Tarry at Jerusalem until you are endowed with power from on high. And that come in the reality of the Spirit coming into their life and filling them on a regular basis. He said, Brother Todd, what are you saying? When Peter stood up and preached to the very men that had crucified Jesus, and this is a man that was scared of a little girl one night, and a few weeks later, he's standing in front of the people that crucified Jesus, talking to them bold as a lion, okay? The Bible doesn't say, and Peter, remembering that Jesus had healed the sick, or Peter remembering that he had seen Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration. It says, but Peter, filled with the Spirit, began to speak. It was that feeling. It was the what was going on right now. And that's, friend, I'm going to tell you something. That's more the reality of the Christian life than the really big moments. I take the big moments when they come. I can name you some right now in my life, okay? They mean something to me, okay? There was a day one time I was praying. This is going to sound as hokey as the world goes around, but I was praying, and I felt like I pretty well wasn't worth having, and I sure wasn't going to be able to get nothing done in life. And I don't know why God would put up with me or want me in any way. And I was praying, and I was in a room full of preachers, and I was showing enough the most least significant of any of them. Anyway, I was praying, and when I opened my eyes, there was a little light beam run through the window. It's in this old chapel up in Dallas, old church building. And that light beam was shining straight on me. And I ain't told many people this. I don't know why I'm telling y'all this on the internet. Anyhow, he said, preacher, that was just an accident. Sun happened to be in the right spot, and it was cracking the glass. And just, yeah, okay, I understand all the science behind it. I just know as soon as that light hit me, and I opened my eyes, God gave me a realization that he knew me. He knew I was there, and he knew all my struggles. He knew I didn't have a good mind. He knew that he'd give me one talent. But he also knew I was willing to use it for him best I could. And kind of chokes me up now even thinking about it. And you say, well, Brother Todd, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. Well, it meant something to me. You might can come along and tell me your story, and you'll have those moments. But I got news for you, baby. Most days of my life ain't been some light shining down through the window. There ain't been a dove flying at me while I was praying about whether or not this church was right in the very center of God's will or not. You don't have them moments all the time. You got them, you thank God for them. But the reality is, most of the blessings God sends me, he just sends them along in my life as I need them. Like the rain showers just falling down, not going to be remembered, but they're real. And if you'll let the Lord just walk you, then you'll find that that he's able, and he's pretty good at leading folks along in life. And he's pretty good at making sure we got our needs met. And if you're dry today, ask the Lord for a shower. If you feel like you're a little cool, ask the Lord for a warming up. And see if the Lord won't come along and crowd out everything else and try to fill you to the point that you overflow and you got power to get done what you need to get done today. At the end of the world, because Todd Peavy's on this planet, I doubt the world's going to change in a very great and mighty way. But you know what? I can let God's work be done in me, and I can try to let it flow out of me and touch the people that God allows me to touch in some way. And it'll be like this little old rain shower. It'll do its good in its season, and hopefully it'll be a blessing. And then hopefully there'll be another one rolling up behind it later on. I know I'm kind of waxing off and veering all over the place today. Like I say, usually I kind of think these things through a little bit better before I share them with you, but I'm going to listen to this, and if I like it, or if I think God might use it in some way, I'm gonna release this, and if not, I'm gonna make another, and y'all never know this can happen, and I'll just study on this as my own little rain shower. Anyway, I love you. Hope you have a great day. I pray that God will bless you. We'll be seeing you soon. Bye-bye.